And you're having a beautiful, blessed day today. Today I want to hang out with you and share something with you that is very special and very close to my heart. I spent an amazing weekend, last weekend, Father's Day weekend. Sorry, Dad. I spent an amazing weekend from the 4th came through the 16th in Irvine, at the Sonesta in Irvine. And it was fun, but it wasn't for fun. For the past few months, since March, I have been part of the arca Partners in Policy group. Okay, so what arca is the Association of California Regional Center Agencies. So arca is made up of all of the regional centers, which includes 21 regional centers from here in Los Angeles to Sacramento. And so we all came together, everyone who was on this public policy group. We spent 10 weeks on Zoom, approximately 10 weeks on Zoom, 10 weeks of studying on our own, studying the material on our own. And we also spent 3 full days, 2.5, maybe 3. Well, I think it could be considered 2.5 by the time we ended. It was 3 o'clock on Sunday. But we spent 2.5 amazing days going through our history, going through what needs to be changed, and creating a plan. And we are only part of that change. Nothing is going to happen just by us working on our own. And I'm talking about on our own as in that group of 100 people. But I want to share with you 5 things that I came away with. And they are not all public policy things per se, but they can be used in leading a successful life. Okay, so the first thing that I learned is that stepping away from your support system once in a while will help you grow. For a lot of people, that may be scary. For a lot of people, that is like a, whoa, what did you say? What did you just say? What do you want me to do? But stepping away from your support system helps you to grow, because it gets you to a point where you are your own person. And so many times I've said this before, we are our parents' daughters, our parents' sons, or our siblings' brothers or sisters. And we need that space in order to help us grow. So we may need what seems like 100% help, or maybe 50% for some of us, or maybe less. But we all need a chance to step away and just figure out who we are on our own. And I had the amazing chance of doing that this weekend, because this group, this public policy group, is a self-advocacy group. So we were asked not to bring our support system with us. We could bring our support system with us as far as the hotel and call on our support system if we needed to, when we needed a personal thing done. And maybe we couldn't do that on our own. But as far as being in the meetings, We needed to be there with our own mind, with our own thoughts, and just be listening and forming our own opinions. And so that really did help me to grow because, one, and my wheelchair user friends will understand this, I learned how to push myself on tough hotel carpet. And if you have ever been a wheelchair user who has been in a hotel that has tough carpet in the lobby, tough carpet in the rooms, you know what I'm talking about. But by the end of the weekend on Sunday, I was a pro. I was like pushing myself all over the place without even thinking about it. So we need to have that. We need to have that growth and that opportunity to step away. The second thing I learned is everyone has a voice. And it doesn't matter what shape that voice takes. It could be an actual voice that I'm using to talk to you right now. It could be sign language. It could be looks on your face. It could be a iPad that has a communication program on it. Or it could just be your iPad and the speaker that you use from your iPad to communicate because you physically don't have a voice, but that iPad is your physical voice. So everyone has a voice, and everyone at a young age should be able to use that voice. I shared in the meetings that my mom got me involved in my IEP meetings, which, if you guys don't know, is individualized education plan. If you are a special education student, you are put into an IEP. And what an IEP is it is, first of all, it is a written report about a student, and is a goal-centered, or it should be a goal-centered report that focuses on the student and focuses on what the student wants to achieve. And so that is why, because it has to be focused on the student, that is why I would recommend that parents, I'm talking to younger parents, I'm talking to parents of younger children, because I'm talking to parents of any age that has a school-age child, but specifically to those who have a child that is younger. Please get your child into their IEP meetings as soon as possible. I believe that a student should be at their IEP meetings very early in life. My mom got me into my IEP meetings, I believe, when I was in third grade. I think that is my first memory of my IEP. And so the reason why this is so important is because it's a student-centered meeting. It should be a student-centered meeting. And so if the student isn't there and they're just a name on a piece of paper, then that has no power per se, because you want that to have a face to it. You want your child to speak up and say, hey, this is what I want. And yes, they might need some guidance when they are young, but I believe that the younger you could get your student into their IEP meeting, the more power, the more confidence, and the better advocate they will be for it. And I believe that even though it might be scary, just starting with, hi, my name is Marie Zimmerly, and I'm in 3rd grade, would be the best start. And then as your child grows, start getting them involved maybe half the time, and eventually wanting them to sit through the whole meeting. Because eventually what you want them to do is to start to lead this meeting, because it's about them. It's not about anybody. It's not about any adult that is in the room. And a lot of adults at these meetings will make you believe that it is about them, but it is not. It is about the student that is sitting there, and it is about their future and their dreams and what they want. So please, you guys, if you are a parent listening to this, please get your student, your child, involved in their IEP meetings ASAP. And so, yeah, so everybody has a voice. And the other story that I want to tell about this point is about a nonverbal gentleman who wanted to live elsewhere. He, like I said, did not have a physical voice, but he was able to knock on a door. And by this time, his brothers had moved out. And so this is a story that I heard at the meeting. By this time, his brothers had moved out. So being the only child at home got kind of boring. And so this young man would tap on the door, like knock on the door, meaning like, get me the blank out of here. Excuse me. And so mom took that as, maybe we need to look into other arrangements. And so they did, and this young man just found friends and just totally flourished. And it doesn't matter, like, I know things might be scary. It's scary for me too, to think about not being as close to my support system, but it is something that I'm thinking about. So no matter what your physicality is in your disability, it does not have to remain the same forever. Okay, so that leads me to number 3, though. Number 3 is we need to focus on interdependent living. Now, as a disabled person who is an adult and growing up, we all were taught that we needed to be independent. And I see a lot of it driven home here on Instagram, that we need to be independent. But I'm here to say that being independent is only part of it. We need to learn how to be interdependent. And again, that does not mean having our core support system with us 24/7. Being interdependent means being able to have that voice and use our voice to ask for help when we legitimately need it. Yes, it's good to do things on our own, but it's even better when you find out that you can't do something on our own, or we find out we can't do something on our own, and we gain the courage to ask for help. And so this past weekend for me was exactly that. I knew that like I was having problems with the transfer, and instead of struggling and saying, "Oh, I could do it myself, I asked for help. And it was one of the best things because I gained a new friend. And I see this friend as somebody who's going to be, she's stuck with me. She's going to be in my life for a long time. And so we need to focus again on interdependent living. And again, what that is knowing what you can do, but not being afraid to ask for help with what you can't do or what is hard for you. And so I already covered the young age, the focusing on giving people a voice at a young age. And so the last thing that I want to cover is your perception. And I've said this before. If you've heard my Boundless Babe video, you have heard it before. But it was driven home this past weekend, by a gentleman named Miguel Lugo. He is a comedian. He is a Partners in Policy graduate. And he is just an all-around amazing, amazing human being. And he said exactly this. He said that your perception of yourself, of what's going on, shapes the way the world sees you. And so if we are constantly coming up against the same thing, then maybe we need to re-examine how we are living our lives and how we are reacting to certain situations. Because if the same thing is constantly the problem, maybe it is how somebody says something, or how somebody does something, or a look that somebody may give you. Maybe they are not the problem. Maybe you're the problem, because if you come against the same thing over and over and over again, and you're just like bugged by that same thing by 5 different people, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. And that was a really hard pill for me to swallow, but I get it. I get the fact that maybe if I'm bugged by the same thing over and over again, then maybe it's me. Maybe I need to sit back and re-examine how I'm taking things. Like, for example, if somebody were to say, "What happened?" What happened and what's wrong with you are often taken as the same comment, but it's not. For example, if somebody sees you in a wheelchair that is not your typical chair, maybe let's say it's a transport chair, one of those chairs that somebody else needs to push but doesn't have the big wheels on the side that can make you independent, which those chairs are called self-propelling wheelchairs. In case you didn't know, now you know. because you could push yourself. And so maybe somebody will see you in a transport chair, one of those with little wheels, instead of a self-propelling manual chair. And they ask you what happened. That what happened does not mean what's wrong with you. And it took me so long. It's taken me years to get over what happened. But you know what? I re-examined it, and I've been re-examining it. And I'm like, what was I thinking? My self-perception on this particular day that I'm talking about was so bad that I projected my self-perception onto this person, and I just let my brain run away with it. I'm like, oh my God, they think I'm ugly, they think I'm helpless, they think I'm whatever, fill in the blank. And so we need to work on our delivery as a community and not use certain words. Like, I have said in the past that I am committing to not using the word able-bodied anymore, or not using the phrase able-bodied anymore, and I'm going to use the words non-disabled and disabled instead of differently abled or any other euphemism that might sound cutesy and might try to be grounded in being helpful, but is really not. I'm simply going to say I'm either disabled or that I have CP. But a lot of the times it is us that needs a lot of work, a lot of inner work to get through to where we need to go. And so, you guys, I just want to thank you guys that were at this meeting. I love you. You know who you are. Susie, thank you so much for helping me through this whole weekend. I mean, if it wasn't for you, I would have been calling my mom every second. And you totally got me out of that. So thank you very much. And Tony and Patty, thank you so much for being awesome leaders. And even though she's not on here, thank you to my service coordinator, Rachel, who started me back on this journey of self-advocacy a year ago. It was because of Rachel that I'm living the life that I'm living now, and that I'm so proud to be living now. I do need a lot of work. I do need to work on myself a lot. But I'm not ashamed of where I'm at, because I'm learning that being interdependent is one of the best things. And I don't ever think that I'll be left alone in a desert somewhere and somebody will say, here, handle it all on your own. And like I said, for those people who are thinking that they need to work themselves to the bone because they need to be an island, no man is an island. And also, no man should be suffocated by their support team. It should be a balance between having an independent life in your thoughts and in your actions, and also being able to have a support system where you could genuinely say, hey, this is how I want things done, and be okay with it. So, you guys, that is it for today. I love you. Thank you so much for joining, whether it be live or after. And I just love all my arca brothers and sisters. You guys are amazing. I love you. We are family now. You're not getting rid of me. We are not getting rid of each other. So please reach out to me if you guys want to / need to. And for those of you who are new here that are from those meetings, please know that I do my podcast here on Instagram. And I also do it live on an app. So you could find it anywhere you find a podcast. So I am all over the place. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Thank you so much for joining today. And I will see you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.